Tonight we're going to talk about your seat at the table. Right. This intro won't be too long. I'm trying to get everybody gathered around because we're going to open the show a little differently with an important message. And it's important that we have the members of this family present for this message. And those who can't make it live, will see it in replay. Oh no. All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. Let me cut off the music here. All right. Let's get started here. All right, while we're getting loaded up here, first of all, I want to thank you all for taking a moment of your precious time to be here with this precious family. And if you have stuck around long enough and gotten to know me, you understand how precious this family is and how precious you are. Okay? I have... The last couple of nights, I have shown you the dot to dot, the big picture, okay? And something else, another big picture that my audience, I don't think has seen, or maybe some of you have seen, in the background, I am building a table. I am building a table. You, being a part of this family, have a seat at that table. Okay, now we have some people who were new, semi-new to the family, okay, and they're still not quite adjusted to me, all right, and I said something that may have offended a family member. Now, much like getting to know someone, you find their quirks out and stuff, and sometimes you get offended, right? That's okay. We all have our different perspectives, okay? So, one of the family members, semi-new, got offended and got up and walked away. Upon walking away, they took a glance back and saw something. And they realized, whoops, I had a seat at the table and I walked away from it. Let me tell you something about my table. If you get up and walk away from my table, you are more than welcome to come back and take your seat back, okay? You do not have to feel embarrassed. I know you do. I have been there myself, okay? I know you would feel embarrassed and have to tuck your tail and feel like you have to, sit across from the table or further away. No, you resume your seat right back next to me at the table like you never disappeared. Nobody knows who it is. So you're anonymous. You can return. And when you sit down back at the table, you will see that your utensils are still there. Okay. And you may join in the conversation at my table, because I know that's what you enjoyed, was joining in the conversation at my table. So when you realize that you've gotten up and you see that I was making a table and you realize you walked away from your seat, it's okay to return. That's my favorite thing to do, is to see you sit back down in that seat and return back to my table. Okay? It's very important this is more important than the headlines right now, okay? This is an emergency. This is my family, and one of our family members misinterprets me and gets offended, and they're still welcome back at their spot at the table. You do not shift positions and sit further away. Feel free to join right back into the conversation again, because nobody knows who it was. So you're anonymous. It's just like maybe you went to the bathroom real quick and sat back down at the table and nobody really missed you. So, okay. It's very important that you understand I am building a table and you have a seat at that table. If you get up and walk away and you're offended, that's okay. I love forgiving you and receiving you back. That is my favorite thing to do. Let me get that clear. Okay? Everybody is welcome at my table. You have a seat at my table. You take it. It's yours. There's plenty of seats there. Everybody's welcome. You sit down and enjoy. Okay? All right, so I'm glad we got that clear. We're going to talk more about that in the spiritual report, but I want that first and foremost out there tonight. It's more important than our activity on the sun right now, okay? It is my one family member who needs to sit back down at the table. Whenever you feel comfortable, you may resume into the conversation again. You don't have to do it right away. I know how you feel, okay? I want you to get to know me. So this is me. When you have a seat at my table and you feel like you threw it away, oh, and it's embarrassing now looking back, oh my gosh, I had it and I threw it away. Turn around, sit right back down in your spot. The one that's close to me. You don't have to sit way back down and feel embarrassed. I have been there, I know. All right. Let's get into this. You guys have had plenty of time to look at this while I jabbered on, but it's very important you guys understand this. Meanwhile, God, that was dire. I had to come on early because somebody was needing that. I could tell. I could feel you. I know you're hurting, and it's okay. I love you. You're accepted back in. No strings attached. It's my favorite thing to do is welcome you back. So get all snuggled in, get all comfy where you were before, and let's get into our report, okay? Let me catch this opening frame. Okay, here we go. Opening frame, June 26, 2024, 024. You can see something a little dark coming out right here. And we got the instrumentation reacting to a CME right there. So as we continue, we are building a relationship here. Okay, you guys are getting to know me. I'm a very complex, intense individual. I'm trying to help you guys get to know me. Now look at this. Do you guys see what's going on here? This is crazy. It almost looks as if there's a... All right, you see our dark patch right here? As we go to this next frame right there, let me kind of zoom in a little bit on both of these. I love you, you're forgiven. I love you, you're forgiven. Look at that. That's a ship right there, huh? Here, let's get right up in it. Want to look through the windows? Let's go look through the windows. Well, peekaboo, I see you. Do you see it? Oh, what am I doing? We got to get it lined up first, and we got the brightness. Thank you, Lord, for reminding me. We can just do it like that. So, very odd cut into the CME. I mean, you can see the disc with the dome and the little windows on it. All right, and it's a model I've seen before. Used to deal with these my whole life, so it's right there. Here, let's slide it over to the other side. I doubt if that caught it very well, but oh yeah, it's right there. Except a dang blue line. Where is? Can we go in? Just that's as tight as we can go in. But look right in the back here. You can see the little. Wait. Let me darken it just a tad bit here. All right. You know what? I'll let you be the judge of this as well. Okay. We have seen a lot of different activity around our sun. We have, black stellar core, black hole type objects. We have satellites that rotate around those that act as their own little solar systems, right? And if we're a solar system that has rotating planets with life, well, what's to say that some of these other solar systems don't have their own planets with life on them as well? They admitted that UFOs are real, right? That they're true, that it's real. Well, then we have to start considering there's a whole universe of options out there now, isn't there? They brush it under the rug and just pretend like it doesn't happen. Meanwhile, that all over the skies, every country's having, activity, all right? And it's the watchers. They're the fallen ones. They're the watchers that they're all showing up here at Earth for a reason. They're here to witness something, somebody. This activity over here. There was all these little guys down there. So you guys got some. Here's this one with plasma streaming over it. Let me back up a couple frames and then hit that going forward. Yeah, watch this guy real quick when I click a few frames. The whole event right there. Yeah, this one coming out right there. Yeah, well, you're part of a family here, all right? There's families stick together, we make mistakes, but we forgive each other. We learn from those mistakes. So they aren't mistakes, they're actually just opportunities. Is this like another thing right here and another one? Am I seeing things? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Hmm. Oh boy. Dang, man. Yeah, it's right there. Now you can see in the windows. Are we all on the way in? I got one more. Oh, I got one more here. Let's see the passengers waving at us here. I'm gonna darken it just a tad bit here. Whoops, right there. No, pull it up. We don't need that. All right, there you go. See the little windows. See a little head in a window right there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that into motion, all zoomed in like that. Oops, it needs to come down right there. Sorry. There's activity going on down here somewhere too. And then, bingo. Wow. All right, well, don't be surprised you see something like this hovering in the sky over the planet here pretty soon. Because it's been like you see these things come out in the next day or two. There's one seen somewhere around the world that matches the same shape. All right, let me pull back just a little bit because that is almost too zoomed in. Right about there does it justice. These things are all over the place tonight. Good thing you have a seat at the table, huh? Because this stuff doesn't phase you at all. I told you I've had to experience this activity all my whole life, and of course nobody believes you. So therefore, I'm used to being not believed. So I've dealt with that, well versed in that department. So let's continue on now over here to this solar ham. Okay, you can see here's our activity for today. Let me just zoom in a little bit there. My bad. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So there we go. And you can see just had that little one bump right here. Not too much activity as far as earth directing for this instrumentation. We have a little activity, a little bump in there already going on tomorrow. We could try to take a peek at that if you want. No? Well, we're going to anyway. And it's not much to look at. But look at this spread down below here. This is it's all kind of curving this way. You see that? Just odd. We'll see more of what happens there tomorrow. All right, so there's your solar flux for today. Okay, and then let me back out a little bit here. And then come up here, our solar flux indice is 181 and it's dropping still. So another 13 points it dropped, which is good. We'll take that. Sunspots increase of 6, but we're still in the green, which is okay. The area is very small. It doesn't matter right now. Quick peek at this. We can zoom in there real quick. Bing, bing, bing. All right. So this one kind of going past center disk right now. Here's 3720. Very weak, but still a red and a blue, a positive negative pole configuration. This is just too positive poles. There's not much of a negative there. Meanwhile, here's our big patch. This is 3723, the old 64, okay, the one that's been our nemesis for a while. And its configuration's pretty scattered and sloppy. There's a couple of, intense pockets here, but not very intense blue or opposite to match it. Okay, so this doesn't look as volatile as it was before. Okay, so now let's see here. This one is getting a little complex here. This little 3729. We'll watch that one. Okay, let me back out of this and keep going. Very, very important that you guys understand you have a seat at the table. The bigger picture in the background of this channel that you did not notice is that I have been building a table this whole time, and each and every one of these members in the audience has a seat at that table as a family member. Continue on. 3-day geomagnetic forecast. Nothing for tomorrow, but they're calling for G1s on both the 28th and 29th. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of energy that we're going to be absorbing. All right, which is not the best thing that we need right now. And when we looked at the Schumann last, we see these big blasts. Now, those might turn out to be something a little bit different because I have not seen any kind of pressure correlation or release. So we're going to address that a little bit here too. Okay, so back to where we were. 5% on our X flares. Probably agree with that because those sunspots did not look very organized. M flare 55. Your moon phase. All right, cool. Hey, my avatar's a moon phase. All I have to do is put 2 eyes on that little sucker and a smile, huh? All right, let's keep going. So here we are, 3723, still beta gamma delta configuration, and it just does not look like it has that much strength left, and it says declining, so that's good. I will take declining on a BGD any day. Okay, back over here. We got 2 on our KP, so nothing too bad. We did have a slight little rise, but that's nothing. That's, compared to what we've been taking on before, that's nothing. So, and you can see our auroras are really faint right now, so that's good as well. All right, now let's get on over here. Solar activity so far on Tuesday has been at a moderate level with at least 1 low M flare and a number of C flares. That is from yesterday. All right, same article. Okay, they're still showing the same one kind of traveling down this way. This is the one we're more concerned about that'll be making an impact here around the 28th. Let me get this pulled up real quick for you guys. Load up that old movie. Yes, so you have a designated spot at the table. It's not like when you come back, you have to get at the end of the line. No, you resume right where you left. That spot is yours. It's nobody else's. So now let's get right here. Okay. You see how this is heading up in this quadrant right here? We're getting clipped by the very... Come here, get out of the way. We're getting clipped by the very edge of this, right? Now, an impact is due, a little bit later now, midday the 29th. Okay, so impact around here, midday the 29th, getting right on the edge. Now, what I want you to do is take a mental note of where this CME, where it is. And then we're going to come back over to this one. Remember that CME? It was right along our IMF line, wasn't it? Oh, shoot. See, right here. And it was right there. It crosses our IMF line. So, okay, we're right here. Our IMF line goes right there. That thing crosses our IMF line. So we're going to get some kind of decent jolt from it. And the G1, okay, that could depend on how well our magnetic field is dealing with, how strong our little dynamo is pumping away inside. Okay, so there's that. The rest of that's all over here. Spaceweather.com, real quick. The geomagnetic storm watch. The minor G1 geomagnetic storms are possible on June 28th when a CME is expected to graze Earth's magnetic field. It was launched into space during the early hours of June 25th by an erupting filament of magnetism in the sun's southern hemisphere. Now everybody's talking about the nova you haven't heard about is about to explode. By the time you finish reading this story, there could be a new star in the night sky. Yes. So it shows you where to go, where to look and everything. But what I want to talk about out of this article, where to go? Right here. All right. TCRB is a recurrent nova. That means it erupts not just once, but over and over again. Okay, its explosion on 1866, was the first nova astronomers have ever seen in detail. No one knew what caused it. Another blast in 1946 established a period of 79 to 80 years and led researchers to the modern interpretation. All right, located, where to go? Oh, right here, it's right here. So located 3,000 light years away, TCBR is a binary star system consisting of an ancient red giant circled by a hot white dwarf. Almost like a similar scenario with our big, what people would theorize would be the red giant, or, Nemesis would be some kind of red giant with a hot white dwarf, which would be like the Nibiru, how it picks up so much magnetism, picks up so much plasma because it's rotating around the outside. But a similar situation, a binary star system with a red giant spills onto the surface. I need the light. There we go. Too dim. Spills onto the surface of a white dwarf. Almost similar to our little configuration that we see. Anyways, very good article. You can come over here and look at this. A lot of similarities. It's almost like they're kind of hinting that they know what it is and just kind of giving you details via another event. Okay. Also, this is a sign. Sign in the heavens, sign in the moon, sun, and the stars. This thing is a sign. And when it starts talking about hydrogen from the red giant spills onto the surface of the white dwarf. Okay, let's get on over here to the Schumann. Now, this big old gap right here in data and this very intense blast, and we saw an identical one, same configuration. That's starting to tell me, I think there's some outside influence because this is echoes at the ionosphere bouncing back. So you could have something affect the ionosphere, which is electrically charged. Say a passing stellar body with an electromagnetic charge, zapped our ionosphere, almost like a lightning strike, and went zap and glitched it out. These are starting to, because we didn't see earthquake, the volcano intensity release that we would see from such an event if it were core related. And then we snap back really nice from such a hard event. I think we're talking about something affecting our ionosphere. It's not the echoes from these are the echoes from the earth. You could see them. That's just like a big, hard, intense shot. I bet you it went off the scales. I could go over to another Schumann that takes you a little further, but it probably went, 2 or 3 of these maps deep, down to here or something. So that was very intense. It was so intense, it glitched out. And it took a while for the instrumentation to recover. Same configuration on the last one. We have, we have military doing some stuff right now, don't we? They're communicating and they're doing all kinds of different things. And some of their things could affect our ionosphere, right? So this blast right here is, to me, looks external instead of internal. It's either man or some other strong influence hitting the ionosphere. And the ionosphere is bouncing back down this intense reading. Okay, so, and we had the very same configuration just over here to the left. It's off the map now. But the gap in time from the other one to the other one would put it like, right around here pretty soon. So if we see another one, evenly distributed, intense pulses like that tend to tell me that it's some kind of other influence other than internal. Because I pray that it is. Oh boy, do I pray that this is some other influence other than internal, because if this is going on internally, we're not in good shape. That is not good. So I've seen, really intense blasts last a long time, but the way it blacks it out just almost kind of tells me this is something else. We'll see here. It's just so intense, so sudden yet gradual. It tapers with a structure. I would love to see the other side of this structure. I bet it does something similar. And say if there were, we're seeing craft here, right? Say if one of these craft, a big one like this, got a bunch of charge to it, right? Because it's been bathing in electromagnetic bath. Oh wait, that's yesterday, or that's already the future. So such a craft here, when it pops up here, say it gets all charged, radioactive charge from the sun, right? So it's electromagnetically charged, and it penetrates the atmosphere and kind of drops in. Such a thing, an object that would be charged like that could give an electric zap to the ionosphere. There's a good shot of it. Right about there. There we go. And we saw this other one on this side as well. So something like this could cause this. There are more than one factor going on now. Two things can be true at the same time. We have activity going on from down in the core here, and then we could have external activity that hits our ionosphere. And the ionosphere, this is detecting echoes off of it. So if something just zaps the ionosphere itself, then of course it's going to leave a reading on this instrument. Okay, so could be starting to think here that this is a secondary external event instead of internal. We'll see what happens here. Now let's continue on. And as you can see at the very end, we were cruising along green with good continuity. So when we have a nice smooth recovery like that, it tells me it's something different. It's just, I looked at that chart a lot, and that one just kind of looks out of place. Anyways, getting on over here to your upper jet stream, you can see it's got this intense wide band up here in Canada. All right, so a lot of energy up high getting shunted up north because of this rotation down here. Okay. Now what I want to do is kind of position it here, and we'll drop you down into the lower jet. See your correlation. Okay, there's your lower jet stream. This is where a lot of storms get steered by this. Then down at the storm level, we get this. All right, so we got our vortex of heat out here causing rotation, right? Storms are riding this conveyor belt. Here's a couple of them up there, up on the top part. Here's our storm that's in the Gulf of Alaska, rotating around that hot spot there. Maybe this is another secondary hot spot. We'll see. But kind of looking like a little face there or something, kind of, isn't it? So as this stuff approaches the West Coast, a little bit is getting shunted, bleeds through up here in Oregon and stuff, maybe Washington area. Sorry, Washington. But the rest is still going parallel to the coast. So any kind of energy kind of hits this wall. Kind of see where there's nothing there, this wall right here. Doesn't it look like it just comes up against some kind of invisible wall, splits up, and gets shunted down this way? I just want to see. There could be something circular there, but by our flow, yeah, maybe right there. I don't know. As we back out, though, there's definitely something diverting energy down south. We have this rotation, so eventually it wants to round the corner, so it's rounding the corner. The storms that get pushed up into this corner seem to dissipate. I don't get what's going on here, but it seems to be kind of protecting the West Coast. Meanwhile, we got this kind of flow coming up still from across the Atlantic, coming up into the the United States and creeping up into Canada now. All right, everything green is moist, warm air. We're talking moist, warm air from the Gulf, clear up here in Canada. You see that? And that's going to bring severe weather to the northern part, because the severe weather likes to mix with cold air to get severe. Meanwhile, just get nice and rainy and muggy and stuff down here, get so hot. So there's our little airflow coming from across the Atlantic. We got this storm up here approaching Ireland and northern England. Other little storm going on in the straits in between Greenland. There. We still got this circular flow right here, coming right up to the coast and then turn and going the other way. Of course, they're in winter time down there, so. All right, so there's your weather patterns. Let me get right here, and we'll pull up the sandstorm report. Hello, there we are. All right. Okay. Probably don't need to say much. The image itself, it just kind of speaks for itself. We're going to put it right about there. Put the winds back on now. Okay, you see our wind patterns are pulling stuff from across the Atlantic into the Gulf, or into the Caribbean, across the Yucatan, and then up into the country. And you can see there's a light tint already going across the country. So you're going to start seeing, rainbows around the sun and around the moon. This is silica, and when it's up in the air, it gives like a rainbow effect around your clouds, around your moon, any kind of light source. So you're going to see kind of hazy skies, rainbow type effects in the sky. Okay, you see the sand, a big plume has like tore off and is going up this way, thankfully, because we'd rather see a bunch of this go up that way and not up into the country. Okay, meanwhile, over here, you see a little brightening around the straits right here because of this wind pattern. We also have an intense patch off the Gobi Desert up there. Okay, and we'll do these are all particulates. It's all sand. It's all fuel for raindrops. We'll go to a different micron size real quick here. It still kind of shows the pattern in red, a little easier to see. And you see this dark red? That's a lot of particles, big particles in the air. All right, so big raindrops, big hail. Okay, we can change micron size real quick. Let's go down to 1. That's 2.5. Okay, and it's still, you can see the semi bigger microns, or they're smaller than the sand. Is that like a big old bulldog fish right there? That's okay. Different micron size, but here, let's go on right there. And now you can see our sand, our bigger particles getting distributed around the world. Now, this is stuff the raindrops love to stick to and adhere to. So areas where you see red like this, well, they're going to have heavier amounts in their clouds. Heavier rainfall amounts out of their clouds, okay, even over here. All right, so let's move on now. We got the chemicals. We're going to do our SO2 report. Take out the wind real quick now. Let's come on over. Get her set up here. All right, you're looking at the country divided, right? We got bleeding out on this side. We got some kind of flooding in this region, blocking some of the seepage out of the ground. But all in all, there's your, volcano sites and little individual sites over here. But all in all, there's your country divided. So there we go. Pick out your spot in the country. You can see where you live. There's emission sites in your region or whatever, that area. So meanwhile, some of the other spots, just kind of looking around. A lot of people over here by the Bay Area. A little venting too. The pressure that comes in here gets pushed out of here as well. Okay, so that kind of helps relieve some of the pressure coming into the Bay Area. New little spot down here at Mammoth. That's concerning for me because I live, around that. So, little SO2 emissions coming out of volcanoes in the Sierra Crest there. As we go up, you can see Mount St. Helens and some of the volcanoes along this rim. Mount Hood, Mount St. Helens, Rainier, that area, SO2 coming out of that region. Okay. So there's all of that. All right, now I'll go down. Mexico's having their issues now. Central America, Haiti, Cuba, Jamaica got a really dark spot. Oh, you know what? Jamaica has a dark spot. No, I'm joking. A new spot here in this region too, after the big quake that they had in that region. Okay, coming down through there, all individual sites. Let's check our fulcrum point. It's doing, it's not as big in size. It's more compact. Okay, still pretty dark. This other one up here is fading. They're not defined. So it looks like we have, pressure in the area still, but a lot is being released, and even this little spot's fading, right? So it looks like a little decrease in pressure, even though we're still kind of seeing dark through here. It's still a fair amount of pressure to push gas out. That that deep dark purple is your intensity on the line over there. Okay. All this pressure being released right here has kept a big quake from happening on this tectonic plate and the fulcrum point. Kept everything down to like magnitude 4 and stuff, which is good. Okay, let's come on over to this side of the world. Well, we stop off in Hawaii real quick. Yeah, let's take a little stop in Hawaii. A little break in paradise for a minute. Everybody take a deep breath. Ah, you smell the palm trees and that nice, moist, warm, tropical air. Yeah. Okay. Meanwhile, Oahu still got a fair amount of SO2 coming out of there, which is being the relief valve for this area. We're also seeing, emissions from the other islands now. It was mainly just Oahu. Now we're starting to see it out of the main island and Maui here a little bit. Okay. So that's the hub of the wheel. Okay. So there's pressure coming out of the hub a little bit. And it looks good. It's nothing to worry about, really. That's doing great, actually. Yes, doing great, actually. Okay, let's get to our over here in this area. You can see they still have massive amounts of this gas coming out of the ground. All right, a lot of pressure in the area, pushing out a lot of this. And what happens is eventually this will loosen up the ground, gas coming out, water going down into the holes, back and forth. It loosens up the ground. They're going to have sinkhole issues, flooding issues. They're going to have biblical issues because, well, we'll get there in the spiritual report, okay? Meanwhile, here we are over to India. Still major amounts of SO2 right up to the rim of the Himalayas too. It's like the Himalayas keep this pocket, keep it from going over and going to this area. That's like the cleanest area on the planet right there in the Gobi Desert. But anyways, back up in here, you can see India has their issues. Over here, Saudi Arabia, all of Europe. Okay, they're all perforations in the crust, SO2 leaking out. There's a good spot down here at South Africa. And, the gas comes out of the ground so hot it can spark fires. I've shown you the fires before. We're going to keep moving, though. I want to get back to your seat at the table. You can see how the wind takes this stuff offshore, too. We're not done. We got to do the ocean. Back up. Whoa. Okay, take that right there. Go. All right, let's start over here. We got our yellow bar type structure coming back here. We need a new perforation or something. It looks like up here in Alaska, we had this noodle spot, but I don't think it's close enough to relieve this area. So we need a new little perforation around here somewhere to relieve this again because it's starting to build in intensity. Okay, you can see these are all underwater volcanic sites creating, heat plumes in the water. Here, right around Korea, this was all bright yellow in there the other day. So there's been a release of pressure in this area, and we see it, dropping from yellow down to red. So probably had a quake in the region, some kind of pressure release, volcano, whatever kind of relieve pressure, here, which, relieves in the surrounding area. Amazing how we got this white hot spot right here and cold water pretty close by. So they still got cold water, but they got these plumes. And you can tell they're heat plumes. They're sites on the ocean floor. They're spewing magma. All right, here's our fulcrum point, Taiwan. You see, last couple weeks it's been red with blue with cold water inundation. Notice there's no more cold water inundation. We have yellow on the backside forming now. We have yellow on this end of the island forming, even over across on the other coast. Even in here, you see it starting to orange up a little bit. That's all signs of pressure. What you're looking at are temperatures, but the temperatures are relative to the pressure. So they might as well be pressure as well. Or vents too, open vents. You can tell where there's something that's just out of place. There's obviously something, perforation in the crust on the ocean floor. So we're going to go down to Java here, where we have a lot of volcanic earthquake activity. These islands as well, they still have cold water inundation, but over here, look here at the mouth by the Sunda Strait, it's starting to turn orange now. We need a good release along this plate boundary. These guys to, increase in their height of volcanic blast to relieve the pressure in that area a little bit better. Meanwhile, this spot off of Madagascar continues to grow. Imagine, there's a vent on the ocean floor. It's created a column of hot water. That column goes up to the surface and then spreads out like a mushroom cloud. Well, here's your round circular mushroom cloud effect in the water from a hole in the crust, right where my dot is, right where my cursor is, right there. Other spots down here. Clearly, all this cold water around, they're in wintertime, and there's a hot spot. Same here. All of these are all little perforations. They create cold water currents. Hot water rising wants cold water rush in to replace it. So we got this. It creates a current. Here's over here at South America. Boom, boom, boom. Right there. Going up the coast, you can see it's starting to creep up here. They're starting to get hot water off the coast here of South America. Winds real quick here. All right. I just wanted to see if that was going to be blowing onshore, but thankfully it's taking it offshore. So let's take out the wind for another minute here. Let me finish kind of going around real quick, and then we'll... we got a hot spot right here on the equator, right where all this cold water inundations going on. Our La Nina that was about to take place might get undermined by a hot spot right next to it. See that? That's new. Okay. Let's go up here now. We have the Hudson Bay. Something going on up there. Not normal. Would you agree? Okay, good. All through here, this whole area, not looking good. Look at this. We had this hot plume over here on the East Coast. It's kind of diminished. It's more of a hot spot right out here with cold water inundation trying to seep in. This area kind of diminished a little bit. See this red spot? Before it was all yellow through there. So we've had a separation and a definite, like a bigger, like a bigger opening, relieving more pressure right here, and less relieving the pressure right there. Ooh, excuse me. Now let's move on. Also, another good sign. Look at this. We had hot water building up in the Gulf right here, and now we have a cold water, I don't know what to call it. That is not a cold water inundation from where? I mean, from underground, pouring out of this into the ocean, maybe. Whatever's happening here is diffusing the hot temperatures in the Gulf, creating the hot moist air that's going up there isn't as hot, isn't as moist. It cuts down on the humidity. So this precious little cold spot right here is going to save a lot of damage right there, I think. It could be a lot worse without it, right? We would be glowing. It wouldn't even be red. It'd be more like this color by now, right? Imagine if the Gulf of Mexico was this color already instead of that color. Thank you, God. Let's move on. We got hot spots growing. Oh, are you kidding me? You got to be kidding me. 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 Anybody see the movie Volcano? And look how close this is getting to the West Coast. We're just got this one little band of cold water. And right off of there is this big old deep boom. Okay. Now, let's start with the wind. Okay, let's put the wind on here. Now, thermals coming off the ocean, hot air rising, cold air rushing in to replace it causes a vortex, a circular rotation, right? These heat plumes are so big, they're causing circular rotation out in the Pacific, right? We're seeing it, it's obviously induced by this hot spot. This one. You see what's going on. Little conveyor belt effect coming all the way across here, going up the coast, going through here, going up, all the way over. All right, double backing around. So this conveyor belt to, have storms latch onto it, and we've seen 2-3 storms already ride the top part of the conveyor belt, and then they just get diffused once they get to this area. They hit that wall. Then also down, you can see how our heat is causing air currents, right? It's directing the weather patterns, which it usually does, okay? But this is in a more dramatic effect. You know what I'm starting to see here? Since this little cold water pop-up, it's kind of closed the door of the airflow going through this region. Now it's the conveyor belt's more out here instead of coming up into the country. Look at this. That's kind of good news, really. Do you see, after the last couple of days, what we've been reporting on? It's just like the sand. It's being pulled away more up in this region along the coastline instead of getting to penetrate so much. It's still penetrating a little bit, but not as much. This is where your hottest water would be, and it would just gain strength going in there. Now it loses strength going in there, closing the door off and diverting it going up the coast. See, this little band right here has so much pull that it'll make this whip right back into it, like fluid dynamics. This little cold patch right here is doing its job of kind of disrupting it as it takes it off this way. So, hot, warm, moist air going across the Atlantic, hitting this region. They've actually got kind of a wall effect here. See how it kind of splits up and goes north and shunts south? You'll see your productivity where this should kill the hurricanes, right? Cold water in this north would kill a hurricane, but they're going to gain strength up here in the north. They'll circle down. They'll come back down to where hurricanes originate. So they'll be strong coming in. There'll probably be like 8 to 10 evenly spaced hurricanes rotating around this whole conveyor belt. And the moment any kind of cold water over here stops and this heats up again, it's just going to open up the door again. See what I'm saying? We'll kind of leave it sitting right there so you can see now it's finally circling here instead of just all coming through. We still have this flow. We still have moist, warm water, bringing it up into Canada, but it's not as moist, not as hot as it could be, thanks to the saving grace of one law. Where is this coming from? People, where is this coming from? It's coming underground, coming out this side maybe, coming through the Pacific and getting pulled up in here maybe. It might be underwater aqueducts or something maybe. But a cold water plume right on the tip of the coast like that, and it drifts right into the whole bay and diffusing it. That's like a little. You guys don't know what miracles are sometimes when you see them, but that's like a little miracle right there. Meanwhile, this is getting interesting. All right. So your weather patterns are being dictated now by the thermals in the ocean. All right. And if you've been paying attention to Mike from around the world, I hope you do. He's trying to tell you the truth as much as he can, is allowed to say. He's talking about the hypercane. You see this central location. You see everything spinning around it. That could possibly end up, a hypercane would be this area being the eye of the storm, and this being the eye wall. Okay, straight line winds going 200 miles an hour across like that. All right, it would be just one huge hurricane of devastation. Let's pray that we get some more perforations in the crust that relieve pressure and heat in this region to keep that from getting so strong, because you see it taking shape, and we're almost to July. We still got all of July, August, September of heating to go. So, all right, just kind of preparing you guys so you'll be more informed, right? It won't be so scary. All right, so you can see your weather patterns taking, or your air patterns taking shape around your hot spots. Okay. And this central one out here is just keeping this rotation off the coast here, keeping wind from, going. It just catches this rotation and hits that barrier and continues going around in circles instead. All right. Like me, going around in circles instead, over and over and over again. Shut up, Brian. Move on. All right, here we go. Deep quake, possibly. All right, yeah, 4.7 down at 529. Just a small increase in our magnitude of depth. All right. Now, if the pressure that we saw on the Schumann, okay, a big blast like that, grinding that intense down below, we would see deep quake activity magnitude jump. And we would see the number of deep quakes jump. When I don't see correlation with the deep quakes and a number, amount, and magnitude, it tells me something else is affecting the Schumann. It's just not correlating right now. So we come back to this. This is a 4.8 down at 89. It's not on the plate boundary, but a little bit of pressure close to the surface being released. We have this island volcano, 2 vents right there. So we don't see, when pressure does enter the system here, it gets cut off. It released a little bit already. So there's a 5.1. Now that's not at the surface. That's down at 192. That's going to be a volcano, some kind of feature. Got islands here. We got this little volcano right there. Is the brightness or something? No. Okay. Oh. All right. Just looks dark on my camera. Anyways, I need you guys to be able to see the ocean floor so you can see the, the texture and the tectonics. You got a mountain growing here that's sticking up above the water. There's your island sticking up. You got a mountain over here. This volcanic feature right in between. Down in that little valley there. 192 at a depth. That's an area we'll watch. Kind of interested if maybe it's energy in the area kind of trying to push up through this, and this is plugged, so you get a earthquake a little deeper, because the feeding system for this is a perforation. Here it was at one time. Whoop, come back here. It was at one time plugged up, right? Any kind of energy tries to come up through this little conduit that reaches down to the magma. Well, it's plugged up. can't come out there, so poof. Then that took out a lot of the energy. Look how they're just quiet through this whole region, the island. Now we get over to this other little deep region. We just had a 4.4. It's down at 204. We also have a 4.6. That's at the surface at 8.5. Then we have this, a 4.7 at the surface. Okay, so a little bit of energy in that area being relieved close to the surface. We come up through here. This part of the system's all quiet. We got a plate boundary quake right on the, the apex of this little boundary right here. It's almost like a fulcrum point of its own because it's the end of a boundary plate. You can see the fulcrum point literally going into the land, right? So, just off of it. Yeah, it's not on land. It's right there in the water. 4.8 down at 10. Energy being relieved. Plate boundary, fulcrum point quake. Come up here, nothing at Taiwan. Remember we saw yellow and, the brightening of pressure and stuff in the area. We need a quake here, probably something around the magnitude. Well, let's see what's neighboring. We were talking about a 5.5 last night because there was energy there and there. So let's see what's around here. 4.3 at a depth of 10. Finally, some activity around this fulcrum point over here. A 4.7 at a depth of 10. Some energy is being released in this area. We have these pressure ridges that have built up from the two plates pushing against each other this whole time, right? These pressure ridges, little mountain ranges. There's your 4.6 at a depth of 57. Plate boundary quake, just parallel with the boundary. Was that 2 there? Oh, yeah. 4.7. And what's this other one? Fine, be that way. 4.8 at a depth of 10. There's almost 5 energy, a couple of them being relieved right there, right by our fulcrum point. A little backed up energy right here in these pressure ridges being released. More fulcrum point activity over here. They're a little deeper, 145 or 193, but a 4.5 down at 193 and 4.1 at 159. See these little jagged points right here coming up off of this plate? They're all trying to push this way, and you can see that all of this combined, all these arrows together push up this way, pushing these mountain ridges right there, right off the side in the foothills of these mountain ridges right here. Sure, your energy. Here we are at this spot at the Black Sea again. 4.1 here at Azerbaijan. At the surface, relieving pressure at the surface there. More energy interior here. 4.3 at Turkey at a depth of 10. 4.1 here at Greece. So finally some energy's made it and starting to, react in this area. 4.2. So, fair little amount of energy being released right in there. Okay, that's what we need to see for these guys before it gets out of control pressure and we have a major snap. Mid-Atlantic Ridge, 4.7. South America, 4.9. What do we do with 4.9s here? Yeah. 4.6 at 65. Let's come on over here real quick. Just need to check mid-range 3s and mid-range 2s. Okay, good. We're back to mid-range 2s. And still one little mid-range 3. Still a little weakness in that area, letting some of the pressure release. That's good. I think that covers everything but the U.S., right? All right, so let's go all magnitude now. Jump in. Hop into your seat at the table. Put your feet up. Relax. You're amongst friends. Be you. Do not get all weird and think you have to hold this and all the way up. Relax. We're a family. 4.8 down at 44. We got a 3.3 on the plate boundary. I want to see what kind of energy has made it. Well, our biggest quake at the around the fulcrum, 2. A 3. No. Okay, so not much coming over and coming in. That's good. Yeah, a little microquaking here. This little volcanic feature out here, a little pressure trying to push up underneath it, rattling it a little bit. You know, we were seeing SO2 emissions from the volcanic sites, right? Well, we're seeing quakes at volcanic sites, indication of pressure down below. It can't come out through the volcano. It's plugged up. Same as this one. The conduit's plugged up. So we see a little microquaking at the peak. And they match up with the volcanoes perfectly. Thankfully, there's none along these. People blowing stuff up out here. Pull back, get that out of there. All right, nothing came in really to our fulcrum point. Just off of it, pressure comes in. We had a little release, 1.9. You see, this is at a depth of 1. That's surface energy. I mean, that's right there at the surface. So pressure came in. It just didn't snap here at the fulcrum point. It looked for, path of least resistance, wasn't there. Changing direction hurts. So you got to keep going straight, and then bingo. That's good. It shows that it's relieving energy in the area. There's another one right there, same magnitude. Now coming into this area are a couple other little spots here. Cool. Our geysers doing the job here, venting a lot of the energy in this region, microquaking. We'd much rather see a lot of little microquakes than one big one. So it's a relief valve that acts right before energy comes into the Bay Area, cutting down the magnitude of these quakes. Little ones here, little 1.3, but I'm looking at these fault structures right here in the ground as they run down through here, and we keep seeing little small microquake activity in here, indicating a weak spot, but also relieving pressure at that weak spot. So it's okay to see a little bit of microquaking in here. It keeps it from having a big one. 0.7 there. Couple plate boundary. Ooh, what's this? 3.2 Lopez Point. Okay, we got lowlands right here, mountainous region right here. This is the foothill area, that soft zone. And there's a river that runs right through there, softening it even more, making for a weak part in the crust right here. Look at our depth, 5.5. That's close to the surface. That's a new little weak spot right there. Looking around, bunch of good little microquaking. Oh no, really? Okay, 1.3. We saw SO2 emissions coming out of Mammoth here, and they're also having quake activity. So pressure down below, pushing on volcanic systems, causing earthquakes, and also SO2 emissions from that region. A little flurry out here. That's good. That relieves pressure in that region. Bunch of little solar farms out here. Or not solar farms, but alfalfa, it looks like. All right. Look down here. All right. I think that might be it. Little microquaking. Good. Keep taking care of pressure in that region. Remember, we have heat growing in this area on the heat plume water one. We're going to see either uptick in little microquake activities or possibly, quake activity in that region now. Okay, we saw that heat building up there. Typical activity in Texas, getting a little stronger magnitude at some of these sites. You see what I'm saying? That's a good 3.4. It shows pressure coming up through a weak spot. New Madrid, look at this. Bingo. 1.6. Lynn, Arkansas. This is Oklahoma. Okay, good. So yeah, a little pressure came and released along the New Madrid, the craton, the edge of the craton there. Nothing up through here. That's good. And I do believe, not done yet. Up here in Yellowstone, seeing a little microquaking around this volcanic area. We see when pressure comes in, we see earthquakes at volcanic sites. Volcanic site, I would say, right? Whoops. Volcanic site. Earthquakes. Perfect. We're done there. Let's get on over to our volcano report. I got to get rid of some of these. All right. So, your seat at the table. If you feel like you got up from your seat and walked away from the table without knowing, and you took a second look back and saw something, maybe it was something in the dot to dot, maybe it was something different, but you saw something when you got up from the table, walked away, you look back and realize, ooh, dang it, I lost my seat at the table. No, my table, you're always welcome to return. Okay. And you do not sit way down, far away, feeling embarrassed. I know you might be feeling embarrassed. That's understandable. But no, you resume your spot right back where you were. Okay. We'll get into that here in a little bit. The spiritual report. I see a couple extra people here trying to catch this person. Now, here we go. Karaminski, 12,000. Our new little player on the map here. Now we can go back to this. My bad. Our new little player here on the Kamchatka Peninsula, doing well, pushing 12,000 feet explosions. That's venting pressure in the region, very well. Here we are at IBU. Remember, IBU, ibuprofen. No. Here over at Ebu, 13,100 feet. Luatobi, 9,000. Semaru, 15,000. This is our little baby on Java right here, doing its maximum, 15,000. That thing's pumping every day, 15,000 foot blast, 15,000 foot blast, constantly relieving pressure. Okay. Now back over here at Ducono, we have an 8,000 out of Ducono. Here's Nevada del Ruiz back on the map with a 21-foot semi-active blast. Okay. 21,000. That's a lot of pressure to push that high. Okay. Reventador, Erda Ale, generating a lava overflow. And that was the 27th. Let's go into today, which was now yesterday. A lot of red on that map. Even down there. Okay, Karaminski, 20,000. Wow. This thing's just going to town. That's good. Well, we saw that heat around the Kamchatka Peninsula, so it's, venting through our elevations in blasts. Ebu, 14,000 feet. IBU at 14,000. Luatobi, 9. Luatolo. Do not cut senior trees. They deserve to be seniors. Now, Semaru, 15,000, pumping away. Home Reef on Tonga still has enlarging island size. Wow. New pancake-like lava delta enlarging the island size. Pretty cool. Popo, probably a good one. Oh, it's steam and gas emissions. Okay, Fuego. Okay, Nevada del Ruiz, 20. Okay, we saw a 21 and a 20. These are two different blasts. Okay, so you got a couple of different blasts out of this one, out of Nevada del Ruiz, that are pretty high. That's a lot of pressure being relieved. Reventador, 14,000. Sabancaya, 24,000. That's a lot of pressure being released. These lists are insane. Okay, they've become so mundane here at this channel because I report on them too much almost. I got to drill it into your head though. These are insane. These are currently erupting. I want you to go look up the definition of currently erupting. That means currently erupting. Over here, these are minor activity, and it ain't so minor. These things are spewing all kinds of SO2, all kinds of stuff. They're ready to blow at any moment, too. Any little mouse fart of pressure increase makes these things jump over here. And there's just so many to list. I'll let you read all of these. Well, here. Kamchakna, Bizamani, Dukono, Ebico. These are ones that erupted today that just didn't make it on the little report. Ebico, Erebus, Urta Ale, Etna, Fernandina, Fuego, Home Reef. Meanwhile, we got these ones to watch out for. Dempo over in Sumatra, because Sumatra's growing in intensity. Concepcion in Nicaragua is a new addition. So is Kenalone in the central Philippines, where we see pressure in the archipelago. Okay, Vanuatu, we got to watch that area, right? Here's Karaminski on the Kamchakna. It's kind of fallen off because the other one's taken over. It's releasing more pressure than this one. Other way around. This one, Karaminski, we just read, it should be over here. It's producing more than the other ones on the Kamchakna. Kluchevskoy has dropped off in intensity because of Karaminski. That's what's going on there. Okay, now back to Manam, Mayon, Nevada del Ruiz. What did we see? A 20 and a 21,000 foot blast, two of them, out of our semi-active volcano. Belongs over on this list. Recahenus, currently erupting. Popocatépetl by Mexico City. They're running out of water, and they got a big volcano blowing up right next to them. I would hate to be in Mexico City. We need to pray for those people. What other ones? Guess what just happened? Mm-hmm. Other ones to watch: San Cristobal, Stromboli over in Italy, now currently active. I think that's about it. Okay. Oh, we need to go in there and add some more tools to the crowd. Anyway, so there's your volcanic activity. A lot of activity going on, a lot of high blasts, a lot of pressure being relieved. Okay, let that load up. Before we get into our weather, we have many other players now in our weather. So many different factors that our weather has become bizarre, right? We got added particulates, added moisture. Those two together go hand in hand, creating more moisture in the sponge. The air, like a sponge, can absorb water. Well, you're making a bigger sponge out of the air. It can absorb and hold more water airborne now. Okay. Increase in winds due to thermal activity out in the oceans creating wind currents going faster, drive, it drives moisture up higher to where it freezes, keeping your hail aloft a lot longer, increasing it in size, right? We'll see an increase in moisture, increase in hail, and increase in size of hail because of particulates and moisture action, right? As we go into this now, we have our spiritual realm, all kinds of spheroid activity going on. So this is all kind of just our best guesstimate anymore. Weather is so volatile with so many different factors, it's hard to predict. So let's just kind of go with the flow here. This is the night of the 26th, our current conditions going into the morning. Possibly up here, watch out. Down here a little bit on the coast. Noon, convection, a little bit of convection going on, thunderstorm activity up here in Canada. And then nighttime. You see how this is starting to form this arced line coming back here, right? This QLCS. There's a very nasty pinch off up here with snow, severe weather at the same time. So thunder, snow possible in this region. Well, up in Alberta and that area. Severe weather up there in Alberta as well, coming down into the Dakotas, down to Nebraska. We saw a little speckling coming down into here. One little shift of the center of rotation, if it shifts by 1 degree, that could change all this by 100 miles. We could miss and it could go right there instead. We could miss and it go back up in here instead. Just beware that this storm with this kind of activity is moving through this region at the nighttime of the 27th. It had daytime to start to build an intensity, and then at nighttime, it cuts loose. There's the morning of the 28th now. So your severe weather, again, up at this lobe. When we see these linear, and then it takes a turn, there's a lobe like a point right up here. And we see severe weather out on these points out here. So here's a point activity, severe weather, as well as right around the low. You see this down here in the tail, this one little yellow dot? That shows that this activity could happen down here as well. Just because it's one little spot doesn't mean it's going to be exactly like that. But that's what we're due to kind of expect around the morning of the 28th. Now, this is pretty close in time frame. So these are more accurate the closer they are to the time frame. So that'll be tomorrow night going into the morning of the 28th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 29th. See how we're having cold air in the morning mixed with moist air, and we're getting severe weather. The sun didn't come in and create this. It happened overnight, and in the morning we get severe weather here down into Missouri, in Illinois, creeping up the Ohio Valley there too. Meanwhile, this up in Canada by the noontime of the 29th, convection, nighttime, morning of the 30th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 1st, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 2nd, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 3rd, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 4th. Things are changing now on the 4th, okay? That's morning time activity on the 4th, noon, convection. Uh-oh. Are you... What? Oh, okay. Whew. I saw blue in there, and I'm like, what? Snow? You got to be kidding me. No, it's just the high pressure center right there. Morning of the 4th, noon, it gets so hot on that day that it goes poof like that by convection. And then nighttime, the 4th, morning the 5th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 6th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 7th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 8th, noon, convection, nighttime. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. All right, yeah, that's so far out in the future. This thing's, the more factors and more things that come into play in our weather, the less reliable out forward it is. So we're getting down to the 2-3 day time frame of accuracy, and anything kind of after that really is it's hard to do, hard to predict, even for the computer. I don't know if they've factored in all these other things into the model runs. So things can change, but there's a fair assessment of what to expect on what days right there real quick. I'll let that run one more time. Okay, so while that's running, we're getting rid of all this other stuff. Hopefully you're sticking around for the spiritual report, because that's what this show really was about. I want to cut through this stuff so we can get right back to where we were. Your seat at the table. Okay, and it's very important that you understand this. Okay, one of my favorite things to do is to welcome you back to the table. Okay, I have been through this game so many times that I have been rejected, and I know people, I know them well, and I know that sometimes they get offended, and they take me the wrong way. Okay, it's important that you realize that if you changed your mind and you didn't get what you were expecting out of me, and you turned around, walk away, and you, oops, I saw something. When I looked back, I finally saw the face. I finally recognized the character. I saw something in the clouds. There was something that made you turn around and come back, but you're embarrassed that you had to, that happened, right? But it's on purpose, because when you come back and you take your seat at the table, your rightful seat, already paid for, it is your seat. When you come back with tail tucked between your legs, you get your same seat back right next to me. I don't shunt you down further away from the table, further down the table. You do not lose your rank on the ladder, if that's what you're thinking. Okay, you are still right where you belong. Okay, it's important that you recognize that in the background. You see, I showed you the dot to dot thing to show you the bigger picture, picture that can't be seen without connecting dots, right? So we connect some dots, we see the picture, we see the bigger picture, right? Another bigger picture is I am building a table. Okay, in the background, I like to build stuff. I like to build a table, right? And you guys have a seat at that table. I'm building all the chairs and everything, and then here's this beautiful table, nice setting, ready for you to sit down, and you can sit down. Anybody can come sit down. Everybody's welcome at my table. They choose to get up and walk away. Most times they don't look back, but occasionally a real family member will look back and go, oh, shit. Oh, dang, what did I just do? I can't believe I just did it. To whom? And it makes you very anxious, and you can't sleep. I know you're having trouble sleeping because what you're going through. You're regretting your decision. You don't have to regret your decision. You are a family member. You simply retake your spot at the table, reach down, grab your utensils, your blue utensil, and continue the conversation with your family. Okay, it's like you just kind of got up, went to the bathroom during dinner. Nobody even noticed. They don't even know who you are. I do. I know what you're feeling. Okay, you feel like betrayed or whatever, but you just don't understand me yet. You're getting to know me. We're building a relationship here, and while building relationships, sometimes people get offended because they have different ideas, different perspectives, right, that clash. And when you guys finally patch things up, you see where the clash was, you realize, oh, it was just a simple misunderstanding between friends. I'm not offended. In fact, I kind of expect that sometimes because of the realm of information I deal in. This is unbelievable. I know. I know. This stuff is unbelievable. I know. Unbelievable stuff has been happening to me since September 10th. So I know what's unbelievable and what's not. That's how I understand for you to walk away. I understand it. Why? Because it's unbelievable. So unbelievable that it's like, well, too good to be true, right? But it's the moment that you walk away, something different happens. You feel lost inside because you felt comfortable here. Feel comfortable here. This is where you come to feel comfortable, okay? Not to feel an outcast. If you made a mistake, my favorite thing to do is forgive you and receive you with open arms back at the table again. Okay? So, you know who you are. If you look down, you'll see your tools are still there. Okay? You may rejoin the family. Nobody knows who it is, so welcome back. Okay? That's how I work. They're starting to get to know me. It's called forgiveness, and it's a beautiful thing. It relieves a lot of people's anxieties, a lot of pressures. It also clears up a lot of questions. It's good that you did that. It's good that you walk away from the table for a second and turn around and look back, because then you will see that there truly is a table. You did have a seat at it, and that you can come and sit right back down again. And when you sit back down again, your seed has been firmly planted now. It's not just sitting on, going to blow away with the wind. See, I did that on purpose to have you firmly planted in this family in the ground, because I want you to blossom like a beautiful flower. I know you're crying. I want you to blossom like a beautiful flower that you are. Okay? I do this to plant the seed properly so the wind won't blow you away. You won't get carried away with anything else. Okay? You simply come back. I hear your apology. I don't need to see it in the chat room. I feel it in your heart. I'm here to soothe that broken hearts. Okay? You're always welcome back here. You just simply sit down, regain your spot at the table. It's always there and always open. That's how I work. Yeah, you could put something in the chat room that would offend me, but it doesn't offend me. I am a different type of person. You will find that here at this channel does not work like any other channel. Does it? Because you are family here. If you remove yourself, you can bring yourself right back in. Okay? You simply pull out your chair, sit back down at the table, and enjoy your company. Enjoy the family. You know, chit chat. Do whatever you do while we get ready for a little bit of reading here. Okay. So throughout the course of today, it has been all about this seat at the table thing. It has been running through my mind all day today because I can feel this person. This person's hurting, was hurting. We're doing the healing now, okay? This person was hurting because they got offended, walked away, turned around, realized they had a gift, that they threw it away. You didn't throw it away. You can't throw away a seat at the table if you decide to come back and sit back down. The embarrassment of making a mistake and going, oh, no, nope, and then finding out, oh, shit. Oh, a big whoops, right? Like a big time whoops. And it's one that just stresses you so hard that you can't sleep and stuff. I want you to rest in peace. Know that I love you, I forgive you. That's how we build our bonds. Okay? Kind of just had the one thing for right now. But it's important that you guys know and you realize. You see this. This is me right now looking down, reading to you with my book light on. So we're just going to stick with that face for a minute here. This is out by the moon, not in clouds. This is a sign in your sun, moon, and stars. That'd be the moon part right there. To the table. All right, everybody, gather around the table and listen. I am worthy of all your confidence and all your trust. So refuse to let world events spook you. Instead, pour your energy into trusting me and looking for evidence of my presence in the world. Whisper my name to reconnect your heart and mind to me quickly. If you want to do it quickly, I am near to all who call upon me. I am right there. I am near to all who call upon me. So let me wrap you up in my abiding presence and comfort you with my peace. Okay? Whenever this happens and you're having doubts and you walk away or whatever, I still love you. I love you unconditionally. And know that I am worthy of all your confidence and all your trust. Okay? Look for my presence in the world. Look for the evidence of my presence in the world. I am nearer to all who call upon me. When you call upon me, I will come to you. And then, when you walk away, come back. With open arms, let me wrap you up in my abiding presence and comfort you with my peace. Okay? I want you to have peace. Okay? I know things are different than they appear. I know things were taught to you differently than they appear. Okay? It's not what Hollywood taught you. It's not what the church has necessarily taught you, but it is what the Bible taught you. If you read it in its context with spiritual eyes, heart, mind, the Bible describes everything. Okay. I really didn't have a bunch to pick out tonight for reading. It was basically that message to the person who felt embarrassed and has to come back. Take your seat right back at your spot at the table. Do not shift down and think that you have to be any further away from me. I had you close to me for a reason. So come sit right back down to me, nice and close, and let me wrap you in my abiding presence and comfort you with my peace. Remember that I am both loving and faithful. My love reaches to the heavens, my faithfulness to the skies. This means you can never come to the end of my love. It is limitless and everlasting. You can stand on the rock of my faithfulness no matter what circumstances you may be feeling or facing. Okay? The circumstances you were feeling, the circumstances you were failing or facing, you can still stand on the rock of my faithfulness. I am faithful till the end. That's why I'm a rock for you to build your foundation on. And if you messed up on your building, you can wipe it down and rebuild again on your foundation. Doesn't mean that because you walked away from the table, you can still come back. All right, I'm a foundation that you build on, okay? People routinely put their confidence in their abilities, education, wealth, and appearance, But I urge you to place your confidence fully in me, the Savior, whose sacrificial death and miraculous resurrection, welcome back, opened the way for you into eternal glory for you. And that seat at the table. Okay. I was so wrapped up with that poor person. I want them to breathe now. I want you to relax. Quit doubting. Surrender and be part of this family. Okay? It's important when you do trust me, because something miraculous happens. All right? This little something happens when you really realize, oh my gosh, really is true, and I'm really part of that family now because you trusted me. And trusting me is the alternative to falling into despair or escaping into unreality. This is reality. The mainstream media and that's all unreality. Trusting me is the alternative to falling into that unreality which causes despair. When you're in the midst of adversity, it can be hard to think clearly. I know. I go through adversity every day. It can be hard to think clearly. And yet, this is when it's vital, it's important to make wise decisions. Sometimes it's as if choices are swirling around you, waiting for you to grab onto the right one. However, there is one choice that is always appropriate and always effective. The choice to take your seat at the table or retake your seat at the table. The decision to trust me with all your heart and mind. There is one choice that is always appropriate and always effective. The decision to trust me with all your heart and mind. The decision to take your seat at the table. Taking your seat is trusting me with all your heart and mind, isn't it? Taking your seat at the table is trusting me with all your heart and mind, isn't it? So if you're trusting me with all your heart and mind, you're taking a seat at what? At a table. Oh, I have been building a table this whole time in the background, in another dimension. And you guys get to partake in that. For real. These notes that I'm giving to you guys are from experience, okay? I had to go through things the hard way to learn this stuff, and I'm trying to pass it on to you. It works. It really works when you put it into practice. But it doesn't work if you don't put it into practice. And it's like you could hear something all day, but until you take action on it and put it into practice, it doesn't mean anything. Most of the people here have been in adversity. They have taken my tools and put them into practice, and now they find peace in their adversity. And I know that when you're in adversity, it can be hard to think clearly. And that's when it's vitally important to make the wise decision, not a quick decision, not a knowledgeable decision, a wise decision. When you make that wise decision, it makes you truly wise, doesn't it? Because you're not truly wise unless you've made that one truly wise decision. and it's vitally important to make wise decisions. Sometimes it's if the choices are swirling around you. There's that one choice, to trust me with all your heart and mind. That's how it's done. That one simple little mustard seed of trust opens up the door, and then you see what really happens once that door is open, don't you? Now, if you're on the verge of sliding into the depths of despair, stop and declare your trust in me. Okay, so you're on the verge of like walking away from the table. You're sliding into the depths of despair. You've made that wrong decision. There's all kinds of regrets. Whatever. Stop. Stop sliding into those depths and declare your trust in me. Whisper it. Speak it. Learn to shout it. Spend some time thinking about all the reasons you have for being confident in me. Remember and rejoice in my endless, unfailing love for you. It's tough love sometimes. Remember, Dad used to, discipline you, and you didn't like it, but it was for your better. You didn't see it at the time, but he disciplined you, and it was because he loved you. You took offense. You didn't like it, but it strengthened you, didn't it? And just like a father, I do the same thing. Spend some time thinking about all the reasons you have for being confident in me. Remember and rejoice. It's important you guys rejoice. All this is true. You got the permission to rejoice. You have permission to have peace. You have permission to come back to the table and take your rightful seat. It's already been paid for. Pick up your tools and begin to join your family and enjoy the conversation with your family members. Please come back and enjoy your conversation with your family members. They don't even know who it was, and you still remain your secret's safe with me. Okay, you remain anonymous. You just hop right back on in, make yourself right comfortable where you were. Maybe you weren't so comfortable. Why don't you slide on in a little deeper, a little more trust this time? I've planted that seed a little better now, and you will see that it is unfailing love. It's unconditional love. It's just tough love sometimes, and you don't like it. But that's me. That's what we do as parents, as a father. Okay, now, when this, how do I put this, Lord? I want the roundabout to get to the concept so they can get this. Okay, so a lot of people are in denial. This is reality. Okay, you're in denial of reality. If you're doubting this, you're still kind of in that denial of reality. If you've been numbing your pain through denial of reality, then expressing your trust can bring you into contact with the ultimate reality, which is me. The fact that I exist is the ultimate reality. So if you've been numbing your pain through denial of reality, expressing your trust, that's praying, that's being here, enjoying this show, taking your seat at the table is expressing your trust. Take your seat, and it can bring you into contact with the ultimate reality, me. Confide in me, for I am infinitely knowing, and I understand everything about your circumstances. Okay? I know what you're going through. and I will help you. Okay? You might not understand my style. I'm very eccentric, very complex, very intense individual. But I can help you. I understand your circumstances. I know about your numbing of pain through the denial of reality. So stop numbing your pain through the denial of reality. Instead, express your trust in me, and you can be in contact with the ultimate reality, which is me being with you here right now. Everybody says, oh, I know when Jesus is around, I can feel it. Can you? I know when God was around, I'd be able to tell. I could feel it. You wouldn't even notice I was making a table, and you just get up, walk away, and then turn back and go, holy crap, I was sitting at a table, and I got up and walked away. Well, good news. Turn around, sit down, and shut up and let me finish reading. Okay. Now, all right, this is the biggie. So we're going to try to wrap this up with this whole concept right here. It is only as you and I work together that anything really works. When what you are doing is pleasing to me, I come alongside you, helping you in your endeavor, don't I? Sometimes you are aware of my empowering presence, like right now, and at other times you are not, because you're out doing your errands, you got life too. But the more you turn to me for guidance and help, the more blessings I shower on you. Some of the blessings are work-oriented, others are matters of the heart, but awareness of my presence should increase your sense of security and fill you with joy. Okay? Listen, I'm going to do this again. The more you turn to me for guidance and help, the more blessings I shower on you, right? Some of those blessings are work-oriented. You guys have other issues in your life, and you think, oh, it's always family issues. No, I come along and help you with your work-oriented issues too, okay? The blessings are the matters of the heart. But what's important is awareness of my presence. Okay, I'm going to say it twice. Awareness of my presence should increase your sense of security. Also, true awareness of my presence increases your sense of security and fills you with joy. It should. If it's not, then you need to trust me more. You need more awareness of my presence, because awareness of my presence increases your sense of security. What's this all about? Your sense of security? Yeah, you didn't have a sense of security. You only find it here because I take you back when you come back. You don't have to run away scared. I take you back. I love you. I'm training you to look for me wherever you are in all your situations. It's tough to do. Sounds easy, but it's tough to do. I am training you to look for me wherever you are in all situations. There will be times when you have to look through your circumstances to find signs of my radiant presence. It's like this. Imagine gazing through a dirty window into a gorgeous, sun-drenched garden. If you focus on the dirt that's on the glass, you'll miss the exquisite beauty of the garden, You're too focused on the dirt, on the glass. Look beyond the dirt. See the beauty in the garden. You're in the garden. There's beauty in the garden. Some of you, no. It's like gazing through a dirty window into a gorgeous garden. If you focus on the dirt, quit focusing on dirt, you guys. All the gossip, all the dirt, all that other foul stench of this world, you're focusing on that. And if you keep focusing on that, you'll miss the exquisite beauty that's in your garden right now. Now, just as you can train your eyes to see the splendor beyond the window, you can learn to look through your circumstances, look through them now, and see my face shining upon you. Seek, and you will find me everywhere. Okay? Just as you train your eyes to see through the splendor beyond the window, okay? You guys can see through the dirt now. You see the beauty in the garden, right? You can learn to look through your circumstances the same way. When you're having adversity, close your eyes and see my face shining upon you. Okay? Seek me and you will find me. Seek me and you will find me everywhere, in every situation and everything. Try it. You will. You'll be blown away when you do. If you focus on the dirt that's on the glass, you're just going to miss it all. If you get up and walk away from the table and don't look back, you won't see that you were sitting at a table and that you had a seat at it. You'll miss the exquisite beauty of the garden. You'll miss the exquisite beauty of the chair that you were sitting in. And just as you can train your eyes to see this stuff right here, it's not too hard. It's pretty visible. It's just wrapping your mind around it and seeing that way. Okay, aha. With the mind's eye, with the heart's eye, see my face shining upon you. Oh, that's a big one. Hopefully you guys grasp that. It's all meant for you. Okay? It's only as you and I work together that anything really works. Anything. It's only when you and I work together that it works well. When you're doing something that's pleasing to me, I come alongside you and help you. My presence here should be empowering. And sometimes you're aware of my empowering presence, and other times you're not. And I understand that. That's okay. I will take you back. You just turn around, you come, you sit right back down at your spot at the table. I'm training you to look for me everywhere, wherever you are. Especially look for me in your situations. I'm testing you. I'm testing you to see if you'll recognize me in a situation. So your next situation, stop what you're doing and just go, I see what you're doing. I recognize it. Thank you. All right. And it helps you make it through your hard circumstances. Because there will be times when you have to look through your circumstances to find signs of my presence. So when you're looking through your circumstances, don't look at the dirt on the glass. Remember, focus on me. And your circumstances will change. They will be your problems and mistakes become opportunities. There are no problems. There are no mistakes, only opportunities now. And that's how you train your eyes to see through past the dirt. You see every circumstance as an opportunity. And it's only as you and I work together that things work well in those opportunities. It's amazing stuff when you empower yourself with my presence. You're empowering yourself with my presence, okay? I'm here to help you. I'm empowering you. The more you turn to me for guidance and help, the more blessings I shower on you, don't I? If you really take what I'm saying seriously, those are the blessings that are getting showered on you. You're practicing these principles and finding peace in your life. Those are the blessings. Finding that peace. The salvaging of a day. The salvaging of situations. We are in the salvage business. We try to salvage our day and help other people salvage their day. You want to be that bright light shining into other people's hearts and minds. And you're going to be doing it yourself while helping others overcome as well. And I'm giving you the tools, the keys to help you salvage your day. Okay? Things come along that ruin your day, and you have to start over again, right? Well, everybody's expecting it to be instantaneously, right? Oh no, the Lord's going to protect me. It's going to be instantaneously. No, it takes hard work to salvage your day, you know? And the moment you do and you get back in a good mood and you're feeling a little bit better because you've done some hard work and you've salvaged it, and someone comes along and screws that up to really irritate you and make it worse. But then again, you have to salvage that one. If you don't, it will lead into depression. You will just slide into the slippery pit of self-pity. Once you feel your foot slip into the pit of self-pity, recognize what's going on. Pull your foot out. Be thankful for the things you have. Seek my face. Find that peace. Take your seat at the table. We are here to love each other and talk. We communicate, okay? My form of communication is very complex, very intense, very confusing, because in a world of lies, the truth sounds confusing, doesn't it? Because you're in a world of lies. Well, the truth sounds crazy. It sounds confusing. It sounds like unbelievable. And I know it sounds unbelievable. I have been struggling with that issue for 7 years. I'm going on 7 years almost. Okay? But for the people who do trust me, they find something magical. They find something miraculous, and you know who you are, and that's why you're here. And maybe you didn't find it at first, and you got offended, and oops, changed your mind, but then turned back and saw what you'd kind of walked away from and thrown away. Well, you don't have to throw it away. You can pick it right back up, put your napkin back on your lap. Don't throw your wet napkin away. You can pick it back up, put it back on your lap, and sit back down at the table and resume right where you left off, like nothing happened. I love to forgive you. That is my favorite thing to do. You helped me do my favorite thing. I helped you by planting your seed firmly now. You are now firmly planted and free to grow and blossom. Okay? I think that's it for tonight. Did we cover all that, Lord? Like a blossom. Yeah. And we're going to keep this person's name anonymous so they can be right back in. Okay? So you won't, nobody will even know who it was. See how that works? You just get right back in there and nobody will even know who it was, because they don't pay attention to who came and gone and who was chit-chatting and who wasn't, you know. This show, it's a very different chat room, so nobody's even going to notice your absence for a minute while you got up, went to the bathroom, and came back, put your napkin back on your lap, and resumed your spot at the table. Okay? And that's how I work here at my channel. Wow, it's totally... Oh, there it goes. Trying to black out my computer here. A spiritual attack a little bit here. So it's important that you guys know this about me. All right. You guys are getting to know me. I know you. I know you. I know what happens. I know what the process that you go through is when you start seeing this and start to try to wrap your head around it and put a little bit of trust in it and change your perspective. I know that process. And I know what you go through in that process because I go before you as well as with you. So as you're going through this process, I already know. That's why I took the notes so I can help you through your process. Do you see what I'm doing? Do you? Do you see what I'm doing? I'm doing it because I love you. I love you. I miss you. And until my next show, I will be back. I think it's pretty clear I'm already back. That makes you a knight at the round table. You're part of the family. Regardless, you walk away or not, it doesn't change my love for you. You are part of this family. You just come right back down, sit your butt back down, and resume where you left off. Okay? You can sleep now. I want you to get some rest now. Okay? I know the anguish that you went through. I went through it too. Okay? So be relieved now. The anguish is over. Get some rest. Be at peace. Enjoy the next day or two. Okay? Know that I forgive you. That's my favorite thing to do. And you know what? If you did it a second time, guess what would happen then? I'd forgive you again and over and over. I'm just kind of a tolerant guy. Gonna keep working until I get you. Okay, you're my sheep, and if one scatters and walks away, well, I gotta go get you. And there's certain techniques that I have to use that seem out of the ordinary. They're outside of convention, and that's why you get offended and then realize, wait a second, you got offended. Maybe you have some work to do on your side of the street a little bit, okay? And that's where I'm helping you. I'm helping you work on your offenses, okay? So you're not so easily offended that when something like that, a circumstance like that comes along, you'll be able to see through it, see my face, and go, oh, I see the circumstance and it's not going to faze me. You guys are really doing very well at this channel. Everybody is. Even the people who make mistakes, they end up being opportunities where we plant the seed much better, a little firmer, a little deeper now. Now you hear me. Now you see me. Now you're starting to understand me. Now you feel a little more comfortable in your seat. Now, don't you? Good. And I wanted it that way. I want you to be comfortable in your seat. Pick up your tool, your utensil. It's blue. We eat with wrenches around here, so you can pick up a wrench and just start swinging and chatting and doing what you used to do. Okay, you'll find it's still there because I know I can relate. I love you. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I know. I know. I've been fighting it for 7 years. I'm well versed at this unbelievable stuff. But then when it becomes true, that's where I got to take my experience and help you deal with the unbelievable so you can receive that real blessing. Real blessing. Real table, real seats, real blessing, real face by the moon. Real deal here. I should rejoice that you're part of this family. And even when you make a mistake, we forgive and we welcome you right back in with open arms. Okay. I love you. I miss you. And until my next show, I will be back. I'm already back. Can't you tell? Maybe not, but give me time and you'll be able to tell soon. All right. I love you all. Bye.